ladies and gentlemen, it is a Wednesday, which means we got patch notes to go over because the update's coming out tomorrow. What is tomorrow? February 22nd, 2024. So we're going to go over the patch notes. I've already kind of skimmed them, and there's not a whole lot coming tomorrow. Because of that, I have something extra for you guys. If you stay till the end, I got something extra for you that I recorded it, and I'm going to show it in another video in a broader context, but I kind of had to share it with you guys right now because it got me excited. So I thought I'd tack it on to the end of this one. So let's go over to the official Eternal Evolution Facebook page and let's go through the patch notes. So blah 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 blah, donkey eat punch, blah blah, 500 diamonds. All right, so once again the game is actually going to shut down for them to push this update. Shouldn't take them long because the update's really small. It's basically one thing. But let's read through it in case they've changed something since I read it earlier this morning. So I did call this, if you saw my This Week in Eternal Evolution video, I did call that RISERRIS was the next awakened hero, and that is what we're primarily getting in this patch tomorrow. So added new awakenable hero, RISERRIS. Now her potential effects. So let's go through this. I didn't go through this very carefully. So, new ultimate skill. So, Shadow Splinter. RISERRIS releases dark power at targets, primarily targeting enemy heroes. So, anti-summoner, right? So, she's not going to go after the summoned creatures. Dealing damage to targets and inflicting fear on the target. Now, it says on the target. Now, should that be targets? It's an AoE. I'm assuming that means, yes, it is targets, because she deals damage in, like, these pulsing orb burst things. So whoever they hit, looks like they're going to be feared. Now, this is going to be her A5. I think it's going to be the A5, because usually the ultimate changes at A5. Each time, it deals damage equal to a percentage of attack and triggers basic attack effects. So let's go in-game right now, because I do want to kind of pull her up and kind of go through this and see if it's changed from her current in-game. We got to compare the two to really know what's going on here. So, that is detailed view. Okay, so she casts magic missiles, choosing heroes as targets. That is the same. Each missile deals damage equal to blah, blah, blah. Each 200 of attack speed allows for more missiles. Okay. And then it triggers basic attack effects. Yes. Triggers Everlasting Nightmare, and the exclusive is when this ability hits the same target eight times, it applies fear on the target. So that fear on the target could almost be exactly the same. I'm not seeing a whole lot of differences. Any targets hit by fear will run away, blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I don't see a whole lot of difference, if I'm being honest. Releases dark power at the targets, targeting heroes, that's the same. Each dealing damage to targets and inflicting fear on each target. Now, the fear is applied if you hit them 8 times, so not a whole lot of difference there. Each time deals damage equal to percentage of attack and triggers basic attack effects. That sounds exactly the same. That part, it seems like nothing is changing. Now, I'm assuming this is also going to be an add-on to her ultimate. So, RISERRIS performs an additional attack. Oh, for every certain attack speed, which is also already in her kit, and triggers basic attack effects. Okay, so this is all we're getting. Then adds a layer of curse to the target. The target will take more singular damage. Singular damage. Who does singular damage? Well, that's Becca. I guess you could say kind of Arcadia, kind of VISERRIS. Probably Artemis. I don't have Artemis. I don't know. So this curse is what is getting added to her ultimate. Upon death, RISERRIS death effect activates. Dead souls. Okay, this seems like this is probably going to be her A7. Because let's go look in game right quick. I don't think there's anything about dead souls. Where is her revive? No. I don't think it's Everlasting Nightmare. It's got to be her passive. While RISERRIS on the battlefield, blah, 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 blah. While RISERRIS on the battlefield. Okay, no, that's all the attack speed stuff. Upon RISERRIS fires one. It's her X30. I could have swore it was her X30. Everlasting Nightmare. Okay, so it's her first common skill. So, Everlasting Nightmare. If RISERRIS dies in Nightmare mode, she will be revived. Upon revival, get 50% max HP and gain 600 energy. And also apply Fear on all nearby targets. Can trigger once. So that is what it reads in-game as of now. And then what we're getting is this Dead Souls. So, Dead Souls attack the target with curse. Or with a curse. Or attack the target with curse, I'm assuming that is. For each mark of curse, deals true damage equal to a percentage of the target's max HP. Max HP is really, really important because that is an anti-tank mechanic. Now, I'm assuming that once this goes live in-game, it's going to say, like, doesn't affect bosses. Right? Because that's usually... We don't want to... If she can do a boss's max HP, a percentage of max HP, that's broken. So, when she dies, she's going to come back... She's going to have these dead souls that attack the targets with curse. For each mark, deals true damage equal to a percentage of the target's max HP. Then the curse mark disappears. Okay, that is big. That is definitely anti-tank. And what the hunters are meant to do is beat tanks. The problem is right now they're just missing a little push. They need a little push to get over that. Unless you have Artemis. The potential, that's like a talent effect. This is what you're going to need dust for, and this is actually potential. If we go look at Dominic real quick, just so you guys get a refresher on what the potential looks like. So if we go look at his ultimate, which is in... Nope, not that. Potential. So his ultimate is this one, right? Now, these are his potentials. See? Potential liberation. Potential liberation. Whereas this is potential explosion. But the reason why I say that's the potential, if I had my Dan awakened on my main account, it would be like the talent modifier. So like this is the potential that unlocks under his ultimate. Okay. Going back. So the potential is, and I'm assuming this is going to be on, this is going to be her A7. Because usually these, her ultimate up here is her A5, and then the potential is the A7. At the start of battle, applies one curse mark to all enemy targets. A target with curse mark will apply a curse mark to targets around it upon death. So there's always going to be curses on the battlefield. I'm assuming they don't dissipate. They're going to just be cursed. It's just going to be a debuff they have. If that person dies with curse, they're going to pass it on to somebody that's near them. The tanks are usually clustered together. But remember, she's also going to apply curse on her new ultimate. So that's kind of cool. All of her awakening is all revolving around this curse mechanic. And then her other potential, I'm assuming... Oh, she's got a new passive skill. Devouring Nightmare. Everlasting Nightmare's duration is now extended for the entire fight, because if we go back and look at the kit, it is dependent, it's time dependent. And she has to die with Everlasting Nightmare to be revived. So now she's just going to have it the entire fight, which is going to ensure that she resurrects and curses and does her bad stuff. After the first resurrection, RISERRIS increases attack. How much? We don't know. And then the potential, which is going to be the other A7... Because again, okay, so you see how this is going now, right? So if we go over here, so Daniel gets his new passive. This is where she's going to get her new passive. Wait, that's a leader ability, but I'm assuming that's also passive, and then this is ultimate. So A3 is passive, A5 is probably her ultimate, and then her potentials on her passive and on her ultimate are going to be at A7, Awaken 7. So the potential for her new passive is... When allied Windfear heroes are killed, she gets energy. So she'll be, we don't know how much. I'm assuming it's going to be a lot because this isn't A7. This is deep into her awakening. I'm assuming it's going to be a full energy bar so that when, say, RISERRIS dies for the first time, she's just going to get an ult right off the bat, which is going to curse, which then if she dies, then that unit's going to take a massive bout of HP percent damage. It's going to be bad stuff. So, nothing really... I don't read anywhere in here about her being a 6th unit. Because remember, Vaz did have something in his kit that called out having 6 Windfear units. Obviously, Mazrani's not a Wenfear. So obviously something else is coming further down the road, but this is going to probably make her better. We'll see how much this will elevate her, because other than after her first resurrection getting attack, you know, she's going to get some curse damage, right? But that means that she has to die in order to activate these dead souls. So after she dies is really when she's getting all of the benefit of her attack bonuses. But then remember also with RISERRIS, when she dies and revives, she's a lot more tanky. She's going to be up for a lot longer. So it all synergizes together. So is this kit good? On paper, just reading it, I'm going to say that it is not as good to me as it sounds as Daniel's Awakening. It doesn't sound as good as Masrani's Awakening, but if we're being honest, Masrani's Awakening was really only good once he got him to A7, whereas Dan was good at A5. Leo as well was really only good at A7. So you're probably going to have to get her up to A7 to really feel the oomph, the effect of all of this. But on paper, it just seems weaker. It just feels weaker to me. Will it be? Probably not, because everything's always the opposite of how it sounds. Dan, it was like, yeah, whatever, and then it made him OP. Leo, we all thought he was going to be God mode, and then he was just kind of eh. And then Masrani, I guess Masrani lives up to expectations if you can get him up to A7. He really is a game changer. But she sounds meh, so RISERRIS is probably going to be OP. You know, they're trying to make the hunters a little bit OP. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. They definitely need the help. Even without, and we'll see this in the secret little tidbit at the end, even without Artemis, the hunters are getting better. They're better right now in game, and I'm going to show you guys. So what else is coming? You know, we just spent all this time talking about Awakened RISERRIS, but we're getting a new Divine Blessing. We know these things come around now every 2 weeks. Why? Because I've said before, there's so many new heroes in game. The only way they can get their banners back at a reasonable rate is to have 3 of them up at one time. So who are we getting this time? We are getting RISERRIS, obviously. They want you to go for the Awakened Hero, Doralee, and Samael. Now, Doralee was due, I do believe it's been like 11, 12, 13. I think it might have even been 15 weeks since her last banner. Between 11 and 15, I don't know it off the top of my head, but I know it was in that range. Samael, we had a banner for him 5 weeks ago. It'll be 6 weeks as of tomorrow, but he's coming around very, very, very quick. And the only reason why they tend to do that is for something that's upcoming. And we know that after this week, starting next Thursday, we're going into an assassin cycle. So what's going to happen is we're probably going to get a new assassin a week from tomorrow. And then that's going to go for 2 weeks. So that's going to be 3 weeks in. All that time we're going to have the RISERRIS Awakening. But then right after that banner goes away, or a week after that banner goes away, we're getting our next Awakened hero. And my guess is that it is, I'm going to say it now, my guess is that it's likely going to be Bailey or Rickert. Rickert has fallen off. He's got a skin. They can really do a lot to make Rickert more important. Because who are we using right now in Assassin team? We're using Asuka, right? We're using a time traveler. Seems logical that they'd want to put Bailey back in that team, which is why I think they're giving Samael now. So keep that in mind. I'm not saying that's going to be the case. I'm just saying that the tea leaves all line up for that to happen. For Samael to come now. Next week we're going to get a new assassin. And then after the assassin ban, we're going to get an Awakened assassin. So it's like, oh wow, I should have got the last guy. Now I got to go spend 120 chips to get him in the store. So that's why I think Samael's coming back so fast. Am I going to be right? I don't know. We'll see. And then Return to Giant Tower. That comes around pretty much every time there's a Divine Blessing banner now. And obviously it's RISERRIS Awakening crystals, and it's RISERRIS copies. What should you go for? That's easy. You should probably, well, actually you got an option now. So we know, because it's going to be at the bottom of this update note, we know that Masrani, tomorrow, his Awakening crystal shards are going into the, the New World or Alternate World store. The stuff you get from Exotic Expedition, right? The place where you can go buy Dan shards right now and Leo shards. we know that Masrani is moving into the store tomorrow when the new Awakening RISERRIS comes out. So what you could do, if you did so choose, given the fact that we have all these resources to get Awakening materials now, if you need RISERRIS copies, well then perhaps you should select her in the wishlist banner, go for her copies in the Giant Tower. That's going to give you a lot of RISERRIS copies, and then bank all of your currency for the Awakened store, or I'm just going to call it the Awakened store, until next month when RISERRIS comes in, and then just unload on her Awakening crystals. That's a play. That is an option for you. Me, since I have RISERRIS maxed, I'm just going to be going for her Awakening crystals on the Giant Tower. But, you know, you do have options now, given the fact that we know how the cadence is going to go with these Awakening crystals and these heroes. New Quantum Mimic. Are we getting anything good? We're getting Barog and Prism Amulet. Okay, Barog, not so good. Not so good, and we're not likely going to have an Awakened Barog for a while, since we kind of got to get through the majority of other classes. So Barog is kind of meh, but Prism Amulet, if you've been saving all your tokens, is best in slot middle prototype for Vanguards. So yes, if you've been saving up all your tokens, and I'm going to say this again because people forget all the time, you can carry over these Quantum Mimic Machine tokens until 2 weeks from now when the next one shows up. So you don't have to spend them on here. They will not disappear from your inventory. So if you have Barog maxed, if you have Prism Amulet maxed, hold on to your tokens. Don't spin to win. Just hoard them until, because something good is going to come 2 weeks from now. You watch. And then you'll be kicking yourself that you didn't hoard them. And then Hero Rally. Hero Rally is also basically tied to the hip to Giant Tower and the Divine Blessing banners and the Quantum Mimic Machine. This is the primary spot where you want to save your advanced tickets, and you want to pull them now if possible in order to get the, I do believe, the Triple S selection cards at 500. The reason why that's important is because we do have Awakened heroes in there like Daniel and Masrani. And this is probably going to be, or should be, the primary place for you to get Masrani copies now if you started later in the game cycle and didn't get any Masranis or didn't get them up to Immortal in your starting experience in week 4? 4? It was week 4. So, yes, so that's all that. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the end of the game. Or end of the patch notes. And then right here is what I was saying before. Adjusted the alternate world shop system. Added Masrani's Soul Crystal Nucleus shards into the shop. So we do know for a fact now that new Awakened heroes, once they leave, and once they're replaced with the next Awakened hero, their shards will be available for currency from the Exotic Expedition and the whatever the stupid card game is that we hate to play. That currency, you can be able to pick it up here, and then that goes into what we talked about above. Bug fixes fixed an issue where the quest rewards in Exotic Expedition could not be claimed with the Collect All button. It was annoying. You had to click on all of the ones that you had up, go back screen, come back, and they were gone. So that's cool. That's fixed. Nothing in here about the fixes to RISERRIS, because we all know that the Marauder set effects, being the lifesteal on the Marauder set effects, is not working for him, and that is clearly a displacement. In fact, they themselves recommend Marauder gear in-game for Vaz. So I'm really surprised that they did not fix this. I can only assume that is because they just got back from their Lunar New Year holiday on Monday, and that is a fix that probably can't be done very quickly, because we do all remember the Dorley incident. It took them weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to fix Dorley, because they couldn't, something with the code was just buggy, and they couldn't get it right away without an extensive fix. So, or extensive time fixing it. So, stay tuned. I'm sure next week we'll see Vaz bug fixes in here. So you'll have to deal with the Marauder not working until then. But you don't really need it, and that's it. So really quick, really short patch notes. Basically, RISERRIS is getting awakened, and she's getting added to the places where we get awakening crystals. Giant Tower. The banner is, or the Divine Blessing banner is RISERRIS, Dorley, and Samael. We discussed why I think Samael is back so soon. But other than that, that's about it. So now I wanted to show you guys something that I found really, really cool. Now, there we go. Since this is going to bug me, I'm going to put that back to my normal zoom. And now let's pull up the footage. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me move my head down here. Not there, right here. Okay. So, luckily for me, on the Gamuzzo's bell, I don't know why, this was just my turn. Didn't spend a dime on any extra rusted gears, but I got not only Mazrani's Awakening Crystal, but I also got, and I can't click on it because this is recorded footage, I got the Hunter prototype. And since I had like 17 crystal upgrades just sitting in my bag, since I've got all of the Mythic Divine prototypes to max, I was able to take it to max within 10 seconds of getting it in my bag. And I decided, you know what, let's go test out the Hunter team and see if having an Immortal Hyper-Evolved 120 Vaz along with this maxed out Bracer, this new prototype, makes a difference. And luckily for me, Bad Juju, who is in the finals for Summon Arena, which he's got 3 minutes at the time of this recording to switch out all his teams. Bad Juju, who has won Summit multiple times, has his tank team in here right now. So he was obviously testing with it. And he doesn't have Wamagon, but I do believe this is a high-level Awakened Res. He does have the proper prototypes for the tank team. Until we get better red prototypes for the tank team, this is the proper prototype set for tanks, because this will allow them to heal on crits, right? So I can only assume, given that he is a Uber Whale / Kraken, that this isn't a high-level Awakened Res, because why not? Why wouldn't he do it, right? 9.5 million power on a tank team. For perspective, my 6-man team is 9.8. So what I decided to do was to test my hunters out against a good tank team. Good tank team. Not some just weak tank team. A good tank team. So I do have things to note on my team. This is a maxed out Bracer. This is a maxed out Pumpkin Bomb. This is the AoE one. Keep in mind that this should definitely heal RISERRIS, should definitely heal Vaz, but since I don't have the crossbow, I think this is probably best in slot for me. But the crossbow is obviously better. And I do have Vaz. I didn't switch out his gear. I do later, but for the initial fight, Vaz's gear is Marauder and Zephyr. Now this is his, I think he's got about 400 attack speed, because if I'm running Marauder, I needed to run to get, I can't remember why I needed Zephyr, because I think it's because I didn't have crit rate or something, I don't know, but I have a Zephyr set with Marauder, which is not ideal. But let's just watch the footage now, enough of me talking about it. So there's Bad Juju. So here we go, and I did put in Maz and Purin, because why not? Because I can run Maz. I didn't think that this team would do well without Maz healing. Now, let me check. Let me turn down the volume a little bit so I can talk over this. So you see that they did throw Carabin to the back, and they're getting all these shields from Tachikoma. And look I'm not doing much to Carabin at all, right? But if you see up here, I want you guys to note that watch Vaz too. So yeah, Carabin's back here. He's going to do bad things to the Hunter comp, but with the new prototype in the middle slot, he isn't really that effective at killing my Hunters back here, because if you guys remember how the kit works, at the start of battle, they started with 90% damage reduction. All my Hunters, 90% damage reduction off the rip. Which means that Becca is a lot less squishy. So Carabin back here is beating away on them, not doing a whole lot. And then up here, up top on this side, you see Vaz, who he's not even in a full tempered set of gear. He's in just plain Marauder with Zephyr gear, 400 speed. But all of the tanks are up here beating on Vaz, but he's got so much damage reduction that they're not really hurting him. So Carabin ported up top, and you see my Becca, I do believe is, I want to go back, because I want you to see Vaz. He took a huge chunk of health off of Teresh, and Teresh is, you know, he's a tanky mofo. Like he's got so much damage reduction in his kit, and right. Oh, let's go back a little bit more. Right there, look at Vaz just chunked him, almost killed him. Now Rebecca, here she goes, and bye bye Teresh. So, and then she moves up here to Carabin, just chunking his health away, and Carabin's dead. So the bottom line is with the bracers, and remember Purin's going to be buffing Rebecca. Having Purin on this team, the reason why I like it is because Rebecca's got the highest attack. She's going to be ulting over and over and over again, which allows us to be nuking these guys so much. Now Maz is just here to keep him alive, but you're going to see very shortly we don't need Maz. You don't need Maz on this team. The reason why I was going to make this video and include him in it, because I figured with him going into the shop, you would be able to have an A7 Maz eventually. So it is not out of the realm of possibility that free-to-play could get access to a Mazrani shortly if you don't already. So Purin buffing Rebecca, Rebecca just killing everything, and Vaz up here is just taking all the hits. I don't think he's even died yet. And if you look, Rebecca is not my highest damage dealer. She's not even my highest damage dealer. It's Arcadia and RISERRIS. Go figure. So there you go. Panda just died. Tachi just died, and then Rez, bye-bye. So that alone, that by itself right there was really cool. But then I thought, you know what? Most people aren't going to have an awakened Rez. Or not awakened, an awakened 7 Maz. Sorry. I tend to mispronounce names and stuff when I'm recording live talking, so forgive me for that. But I thought, okay, let's pull Maz off and let's see how well they do now. Because you saw that last fight went pretty flawless and it was very consistent. So now without Maz, how good is this team? Because now we are 8.3 hunters versus 9.5 probably almost max tanks. We can actually go look at his tanks in game, even on the streaming account after. So we will go look at exactly how high of evolution and what kind of gear he has on his tanks. So here we go. No mas. No mas. No mas. So let's watch Vaz and let's watch Rebecca. So there you go. Carabin's in the back. So Vaz is still taking all the hits, and Rebecca, she didn't take a whole lot of damage whatsoever, and she's just picking away at Carabin. Again, you see up there, Carabin's bouncing around. Now Purin's dead. Purin is dead. Now that is one difference, is that Purin died without having Mazrani on this team. Just looking here, I'm looking, my head is covering the health of the units, but you guys really don't need to see that. Mainly you just need to see the battlefield and the damage meter. So without Maz, I'm dying a little bit more, but keep in mind, Vaz has a res, Arcadia has a res, RISERRIS has a res, and Rebecca is kind of in the middle here, and she does gain the benefit of the bracers, and she's kind of, at this point, she's kind of out of danger, because she's really only in a lot of danger after the initial throw. After the initial throw, and I tested this with other tag teams that throw Panda back here, she just nukes Panda. Panda's just dead. Carabin's a much more survivable tank. He can take a whole Rebecca volley to the face and then pour it out of danger. As you see, he has. She was hitting him back here. He poured it up here and gained health back. So now, at this point in the fight, we're losing. All of his tanks are max HP. RISERRIS up here, almost dead. Rebecca, half health. But now, we're going to pause it again. The hunters are going to do what the hunters do. They're just going to keep everyone at bay. And Rebecca's got an ult coming up here, and she's just going to pepper someone in the face. So there you go. See, they're all congregating on Vaz. So here goes Rebecca. She is targeting Tachikoma. And Tachikoma is dead. And then you see we push Carabin back. And now he is dead. All the while, Vaz has been sitting here in the center of the screen just taking all the hits. He still hasn't died yet. And one thing one thing is that in my initial take on Vaz, I said it takes him an extremely long time for his ults to regen. And I get it now. Why would you want his ults to take longer? Well, if you have the new prototype, the layers of cell shell are reduced by ults. So after he gets that first one off, and then he still gains the benefit of 60% damage reduction while he's up front. He's going to be taking all the hits from the tanks, all the knockdowns, going to be interrupting him. He's going to gain energy even that much slower. So he is just going to be in a perpetual state of you can't hurt me. That's kind of cool. So, you know, you saw Rebecca. She peppered, killed Tachikoma. She killed Carabin. She just killed Rez. Now she killed Teresh. The team's just going to town. So let's just back it up right there. And if we see now the damage meter a little bit different, Rebecca's got the most damage done. Followed up by Arcadia, very, very, very respectable damage numbers. Vaz, not a whole lot of damage numbers because he was on his butt the whole time from these frickin' panda knockdowns. And then RISERRIS actually doing more than I thought she would. So I'm very, very impressed. VISERRIS' stock just went up. Oh, there we go. We don't even have to go look at him. So here we go. He's got Max Panda, Max Teresh, maxed Carabin. Yeah. And we still whooped his ass. Not a max Tachikoma, but I guarantee you that Tachikoma is X30. I guarantee you all of these units are X30. I guarantee you they're all Hypervolved 120. I guarantee their gear is good. In fact, let's go look at his gear because we can, because he is in the Summit Finals right now. Let's go look. So it's in progress right now. So, but we can go look right here. And we can find his tank team. Let's look at his... Oh, wait. Is that him? Yeah, that's bad juju. Let's look at his gear. Nice. Fully tempered opportunistic gear. X30. Let's look at his res. Where is his res? Oh, there's his res. So, he is A7. Because he's got all the light blue and 2 of the gold. So he does have an A7 res, which means, and fully tempered opportunistic, which means res was healing Panda the whole time. Didn't seem to matter. Teresh, fully tempered opportunistic. Panda, fully tempered everything. Oh, wait, he wasn't running Wamagon, though. Fully tempered, though. He was running res on that team instead. And then Tachikoma, fully tempered everything. X30. So I think we're going to wrap the video up right there. That's enough said. Now, that team without Maz, so just with Purin, I did run it multiple times, skipping it just to see the consistency. It won every single time. It won every single time. And if we go back so that you guys can see my team, I have Immortal 4 Rebecca, an Immortal 0 Vaz, Immortal 1 Arcadia. I can only imagine Arcadia's damage at Immortal 5. And then a maxed Immortal 5 RISERRIS. So we're going to leave you with that right there, ladies and gentlemen. These were the patch notes for February 22nd, 2024 with a little bit of a bonus. So I had to share that with you. I am going to come out with my VISERRIS 1 week post-launch update video. And until this morning, I was probably going to rate him exactly the same. Now, shout out to Mayhem. Mayhem also got the bracers, and he was sending me screenshots as well of a Hunter team without Artemis as also performing well. So it's not just me. These results are starting to get replicated. It's just that you really do need that prototype in order to give your Hunters the extra survivability off the start to get them rolling. Because then once the Hunters all get rolling, they just, you saw, they just keep everyone back, and Rebecca just picks them off one by one, just nukes them down. So, ladies and gentlemen, the word of the day is going to be bracers because of the new prototype, because that made my day. So put that down in the comment section below. Tell me what you thought about the patch notes. Tell me what you think about Awakened RISERRIS. Tell me what you think about the Hunter team as it stands right now, even without Awakened RISERRIS, because I think it's going to be beastly once you get her up to A7. Tell me all those things. Bracers is the word of the day down in the comment section below. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you all later. Cheers. Peace. Bye-bye.